Hi, my name is Amit. I'm here with Simone. We're looking at the pelvic curl. So let's have you lying on your back, Simone. The pelvic curl is one of the basic exercises in the repertoire. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy because it actually works against some of the tighter muscles in the body, the hip flexors and the lower back. So let's just start with a few pelvic tilts, okay? So Simone is just going to tilt the pelvis back and then release it back to what you might call a neutral position, if you know this term, neutral pelvic position. So again, let's do it a few times. And if you're watching the screen or if you're doing it at home, try to feel or to observe that in that pelvic tilt movement, the muscles that open up, that stretch, would be the front of the hips, which is one area that we target, and the lower back muscles. And then you can release. So let's do it one more time. You curl back, the front of the hips open, and the lower back opens. And that's what we want to maintain throughout the exercise. So before we curl all the way up, just a word about alignment. I didn't mention because Simone knows it, but the feet are parallel to each other. They're about hip width apart, okay? And we want to make sure the alignment is correct. And as we do the exercise, we're going to make sure that the legs are not changing alignment. So we go through the pelvic tilt and the front of the hip opens, the lower back opens, and then you keep curling. And the idea or the image is that you peel the spine up one vertebra at a time. So we're going to stop around here, which is probably as high as most people get. I would even say a little bit lower. And what usually happens here is that the ribs start flaring out. So exactly. So we no longer open the hips or stretch the lower back, but actually we start working and maybe even straining the back muscles. So let's curl down all the way. And make sure that with the next one, we're going to curl up and lift the pelvis and focus on the articulation of the spine and opening the hips. So when you hit that point that you feel, oh, now I need to lift my ribs. No, keep the ribs quiet and think about lifting the front of the thighs, the front of the hips a little bit more. Now your ribs will lift along, but they're not going to thrust out independently. And then roll slowly back down. So Simone, if you can do a couple more for me, I'm just going to say a few more things. As you curl up, you remember before we said feet, make sure they stay on the ground, they don't curl out. Make sure the knees, Simone, help me here. Exactly, they don't do that, they don't open out to the sides. We talked about the hips. Go ahead and curl down. So with the next one, I'm going to pay attention to the upper body more. As you curl up, try to feel that the line across the chest, the collarbones, is very open. You feel the back of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders as close to the ground as you can, and the whole length of the arms, all the way down to your fingers, pressing down into the ground. Let's do one final. Before you start, bring your hands close to your sides. Again, try to feel the back of the shoulders a little closer to the ground. Don't squeeze the shoulder blades together, but just to create the width. And then curl up. We said the feet will not roll. The thighs will stay parallel. Let's pause here. You're going to open the front of the hips. And then you're going to curl down, articulating the spine one vertebra at a time. That's it. Thank you very much. That was the pelvic curl.